Hey, welcome back to Who's Up, where we get into sports, health and wellness, personal finances, and what else? Oh, current events. That's what it is. Look, I almost messed it up. And today we have Dr. J, Danny Ocean, and Justin, and myself, TJ. So today we'll get into something a little, it's out there in the media, a little controversial, and that's the vaccine in sports. So we all know that Kyrie Irving and the Nets are having a little situation because he's unvaccinated, and it's more because of the state laws. And I just want to say, ask the panel, is it more so should players be losing money or be fined, or what is their responsibility to the NBA for their position? So if anybody wants to start, go for it.
I can start.
All right.
So I think with this conversation, it's important to remember that every professional sports league, especially football and basketball, have a union. So before anything is mandated, the union rep has to negotiate with the NBA for terms and principles and things of that nature. So the NBA and the union, they have negotiated this out about players who are unvaccinated, right? So this notion that Kyrie is being justly undone, it doesn't have a lot of meat to it because the union, the collective, the majority have agreed to these stipulations. And if, I mean, TJ, like you've mentioned, you work for the government. A lot of us work for places that are starting to either mandate vaccines or prove that you have a negative test, and all of it's out of your own pocket. So in regards to Kyrie, he has every right to look out for his best interest, what he sees fit. And in the same breath, the Brooklyn Nets and the NBA have the right to look out for their best interest. So if Kyrie thinks his best interest is not to get vaccinated, that is certainly his right, but it's also the right of the NBA and the Brooklyn Nets to say, we don't have to pay you for games that you are healthy enough to play, but refuse to because of a mandate that was collectively bargained and agreed upon. So both can be right at the same time. It's just, is Kyrie willing to lose that much money? Andrew Wiggins wasn't. He got the message real quick, but Kyrie has, he has more money than Andrew Wiggins. He has more career earnings, so he could take the hit. In theory, I don't know what Kyrie does with his money. That's more TJ and Justin's wheelhouse. But both are right in this situation. Like Kyrie has every right to say, I don't want to be vaccinated. NBA has every right to say, well, that's fine. We're not going to pay you because you don't want to show up to work and practice.
Yeah. That's not anything new for him anyway, right?
Oh, here we go. Here come the
hey, he don't ever want to come to the game, so ain't nothing new.
Yeah, stay at home. A story I heard on First Things First, they said since they want to get Ben Simmons up out of Philly, they was like maybe give Ben Simmons and Steph Curry to Brooklyn Nets and send Kyrie to Philly because the state laws are different. He'll be able to play more games that way, and they'll lose the problem. But I mean, with that, you think just trading the players to because of the state laws, is that the right thing to do? Or
I like it.
I think that's a terrible idea.
Go
ahead, Justin.
Yeah, I was going to say, I also heard that Kyrie said that if he were to be traded, he would retire. And so that's another kind of thing he got hanging over Brooklyn's head. But to answer your original question, TJ, I think at the end of the day, players got to do what's best for themselves and the family. And at the end of the day, the NBA is a business. It's not a volunteer sport. So either you voluntarily do what they ask you to do, or you voluntarily opt out to play. And I heard one of the analysts on one of either First Things First or First Take or whatever, they said that what they should do is they should put him on like an exempt list where they give him technically half his salary and he can't play home or away games because it's not fair for the other team, other players on the team to put the work in to come every day and practice. And then Kyrie just to show up and play the games. And so that's my take.
That's a good point. I mean, that may be a way out, give the league a whole year to revisit their strategy and come up with a new plan.
Well, he's a free agent after this season, so he can do whatever he wants at the end of the year.
But isn't it like one of those things, like if you get like one of those exempt years, that year doesn't count towards your contract? It's like
this one would. If they're paying him, then yeah, he would. It would count. He'd be a free agent at the end of the year.
Because they're supposed to sign, him and James are supposed to sign this year.
I bet you Sean Marks, the GM of the Nets, is glad he didn't offer Kyrie that contract extension.
They did, though.
I'm glad. I bet they're glad he didn't sign it.
Yeah.
So back to your question about Kyrie for Ben Simmons. Dr. J, you think that's a good idea? I think it's a terrible idea. TJ and Justin, what do y'all think?
I like it. It helps the Lakers out.
Oh, okay. There you go. Well, the Nets can win a championship without Kyrie Irving. He's just the icing on the cake. Like, you still have James Harden and Kevin Durant.
But that helps the Sixers out, which makes it harder for them. See what I'm saying?
I mean, as much of an all-world defender as Ben Simmons is, like, he's still limited offensively. So it's essentially 4-on-5. Like, what? Unless you turn Ben Simmons into Tyson Chandler, which I'm perfectly okay with. He's a little bit smaller, but he's a pick and roll. You set him pick and roll, he rolled to the basket, but he needs the ball in his hand. So I don't know what you do with Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons gonna make the Nets worse. Kyrie will make the Sixers worse. That leave the Bucks. That's the only opposition for the Lakers, and we can they'll just worry about one thing.
I mean, you still got Miami. Like, they're no slouch.
Yeah.
I mean, Bam Adebayo was nice,
man. They just in the league on the paperwork, man.
And they got Lowry now too.
Yeah, you don't believe in heat culture?
No, what is that? My LeBron for 10 minutes? What is that? There's no such thing. What is a Heat fan? I know 3 Heat fans that was Heat fans before LeBron, and that's because they from Miami. Outside of that, I mean put it like this. They doing good to have a franchise all together, for real, for real. If you want to keep, but we can take the whole team. They get too spicy.
But I mean, Miami a good place to have a team though. Good weather, it's a good destination.
I mean,
Florida,
no
income tax.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Hey,
look, hasn't been there for what 40 years.
Hasn't been nothing but a glorified goon. That he ain't nothing but a security guard in a jersey, and I ain't mad at him.
And get front row seats to the games. That's the kind of career I want.
Just make that man a coach. They said, "Nah, we're gonna keep you on this salary cap, and you can coach from the bench. It's an extra coach." Hey, man, I appreciate it. Smart.
Imagine you get to go to all the games for free, sit in the front.
Live in Miami. All you got to do is warm up and practice. That's it.
Yeah. You think they let them order concessions on the bench?
Nah, that might be a little. That's not heat culture. Heat culture is about being serious. He can't be out on the bench eating hot dogs. You know, they probably give him a whiteboard and be like, "Hey, Udonis, draw some plays for us," and then never use them.
Nah, they probably put a couple Skittles in a Gatorade cup. You see him over there, think he drinking Gatorade.
Hey, but for real though, he a goon for real. So we better watch what we say because he punch all of us in the face, no problem.
Look. You don't fight everybody that big now. I'm a little
come around here, you will get clapped.
Play if you want to.
He already told you about his EDC.
Look, I scared for my life. I got something that's hot in that
That only works for white people. That don't work for you.
Your ground. Yeah.
That's a law for white people. That ain't a law for you, my man.
Very true. I know. All right. So another topic that we had offline, the college football. We had some upsets, or not upsets, or however you want to call it. Yeah, I think what was it? Bama lost.
Bama lost last night.
Those Tide didn't roll. And
love to see it.
What was that? That
UGA and Kentucky are the only undefeated SEC teams.
Yeah,
which is a very wild sentence to say right now.
You said Kentucky and who else?
University of Georgia.
Oh yeah,
Georgia. I'm not surprised, but
yeah.
Kentucky. Again,
I'm telling you, Kentucky a football state, man. People, I'm the right Kentucky, man.
When the last time you heard anything about Kentucky football?
Well, I haven't, but I'm just saying Kentucky's a good state for football.
They just up against it in-house competition, man. You got Florida looking at them, Bama, Ole Miss, Georgia. That's not
Arkansas.
Arkansas. I'm saying, man.
Texas and Oklahoma want to join that.
No, they don't want them.
God bless them.
Well, I mean,
it's about that money.
That's what I'm saying. They come to be jobbers, just like the Miami Heat without LeBron. Jobbers.
Is the money worth getting slaughtered every week?
Absolutely.
That hurts the brand more than anything. Texas has its own network. You can't have your own network and then go out and lose to Texas A&M every year. Like that. That's not gonna fly.
I mean,
Street's not gonna accept that.
Yeah, all money, not good money.
Say it again.
Maybe they know something we don't know. Maybe they can ahead of themselves because they've been kind of trash to have their own network.
Yeah, that's true. And they choked yesterday in a game in which Spencer Rattler was benched.
Mm.
Mm.
I remember that man from the Netflix series, man. He was a little cocky son.
Man went from QB1 to the Buffalo Bills practice squad QB in a quarter and a half. That man gonna jump in the transfer portal. He gonna be in Tulane next year playing football. You mark my words.
Tulane a good school though. They had good academics in Tulane. You might learn something.
Dog, ain't nobody talking about academics.
I'm just saying Tulane makes some good lawyers.
He not going to school to get a degree. He going to school to go to the NFL.
For sure. It's
Who
just
was it?
That man gonna go to Western Kentucky next year and light up Conference USA and get drafted in the 3rd round.
Man, I think with Boosie. Boosie said she went to Tulane. She got good head.
That's okay. Question for you, Danny Ocean. Once you get Tua and Jalen Hurts, do you then come back from that? Meaning, after Spencer Rattler was benched in the second half, is it now an open competition, or do you go with the freshman for the rest of the year?
If he didn't lead such a miraculous comeback, there'd be a topic of conversation. But the freshman went in and scored like 52. I think they scored, the final score was like 52 to like 46. And I believe Oklahoma was down by like 2 or 3 scores.
It was down 21.
Yeah, they almost had to pass the stick. So when you have a comeback like that, no, there is no conversation. Like that's the freshman's team now. Like Spencer got to go. Had they lost, like if he got in and they got slaughtered, then you could say, yeah, it was just a bad day for Oklahoma football. Lincoln Riley didn't get his team ready, but he came in and led them to a comeback and dropped 52.
So can I spark a tangent?
Go ahead.
We got a similar situation in Chicago with Justin Fields and Andy Dalton. Does Andy Dalton get his job back when he's healthy, according to
No,
Mr.
so Matt Nagy earlier this week said that Justin's the starter the rest of the year.
Oh, he did say that. Okay, I feel better. I was a little concerned for his health.
I felt like ownership said you took that man top 15.
But I think
about to say,
it's a lot different when you draft somebody and when technically your whole job is centered around the people that you pick in the draft, right? In college, you recruiting, they may or may not come to you, this and that, right? Like they'll give you a bit of a pass. But when you draft somebody, you spend that draft capital to get them, it really ain't up for debate.
Because they jumped up to get him, right?
Yeah, they jumped from like 20 to 11.
Yeah, like
you have to jump in to get Trubisky.
Well, here's the thing about that though, because Trubisky hasn't looked that bad when he's played in Buffalo. I think it's more so of a product of Matt Nagy more so than Maserati Mitch.
Matt Nagy is a horrible coach. He needs to get on about that.
I mean, I can't give him too much of a hard time, man. I see Mr. Trubisky as a downgrade from Alex Smith. He ain't the biggest arm. He's supposed to be accurate. You know what I'm saying? But he trying to run the Kansas City offense. But you can't do that unless you Andy Reid. That's just the problem.
No, we didn't say nothing about no NFL. We talking about we ain't saying about no Kansas City. We talking about bad coaching. We talking about quarterback play for rookies. And here you come talking about the Chiefs. Ain't nobody talking about the Chiefs, man.
He Andy Reid disciple.
Patrick Mahomes is almighty God, and he can do whatever he wants. He the unicorn. We got it, dog. You say this every week. We know.
Shoot, Andy Reid need to eat one less rib. Keep his heart healthy.
Andy Reid do whatever he wants as long as he go in the Super Bowl.
The defense had him stressed out, man. Sheesh.
That man pulled a Urban Meyer on the sideline. Defense had him so
concerned.
Shout out to Urban Meyer.
Do you think Urban going to the whole year?
No, I've always said he'll be the USC coach by Thanksgiving, but he's doing too good of a job. USC can't even hire him now. Like the goal was to be bad and get fired, not disrespect your wife and get fired, right? Like the goal was for them to lose. He'd have a heart attack or another health issue, and then he'll be in USC by Thanksgiving. Now USC can't even hire him.
Wow, folks.
I mean, but that's what he does, right? Like Ohio State, he allegedly, kept a man on staff who beat his wife, and he knew.
Mm-hmm.
Got a little hot in the kitchen, hold my chest.
Mm-hmm.
Man, floated out of Ohio State on the TV.
Mm-hmm. Maybe he trying to get back on TV.
He need to. That's the only. Hey, dog. I'll say this: if you're going, and I'm not condoning stepping out on your spouse, because that is wrong. But if you're gonna do it, at least do it with someone who can twerk. Like he had that. If you're gonna get caught on camera dancing with another woman, at least make sure she can bounce that thing. That was the stiffest twerk I had ever seen in my life. Like she should have just walked away on principle.
Hey, they showed another video where he had his hand on her booty, but on
I didn't
on
I
the
didn't
hole
see
where
no
the
booty to have a
the
hand
booty
on.
come
I
out.
just saw spine.
That's it. And bro, you gotta know that they gonna set you up. You urban, whether they taking a picture or a video, they just waiting for the hand to slip.
But you know what? That happened in a restaurant that he owns. He
That
can't
don't
even.
matter.
He can't even step out in his own spot.
That's where they gonna
Hire
get you. At.
security.
What's it be your
At least-
own ones, ain't it?
At least make sure she can pop that thing before you get caught on camera.
I hope you can blame it on having one too many drinks. Hope he was nice.
You
nice
can't
and
blame
chill.
that on nothing, dog. Like
I thought it was her.
I've never been so drunk. I'm like, yeah, tonight might be a good night. Like that is like an internal issue.
Maybe he got to take the new route.
What's the
And
new
just be like Future. Just I did it, and next.
I'm a
he
dog.
he doesn't have the moxie to do that. This in college. Like he doesn't have that much power.
You can get a DUI in the league. You can slap somebody. You can do all kind of stuff. Don't take a knee about the flag, but you can do everything you want to in the NFL. Why not cheat on your wife too? Shit, turn it loose.
This conversation is going in a direction that I never thought it would.
Hey man, if you tell him up front you a dog, I mean, can't expect much.
Where he's not winning. That's the only thing. If he was winning, he'd be like, "What you want to do?"
If he was winning, this would still be funny because like Urban Meyer's MO is like family and respect, right? Like he out here preaching to college kids about honoring yourself and all that jazz, and he out here getting twerk from a Tower fan.
Yeah, and don't be a distraction.
Yeah, don't be a distraction. I bet you Tim Tebow pulled out the Bible immediately when he saw that video.
Throwing the holy water on that boy.
Yeah, they had a Zoom prayer meeting the next day.
Hey, like you say, him and Tim too probably sat down, got a little repent on, and called it a day. It's between him and the Lord now.
Hey man, don't step out on your spouse, people.
Oh,
Just divorce them. If you're that unhappy, just divorce them.
That's if you got a prenup.
Even if you don't have a prenup.
Nah, because then you might look naked in the financial, you might lose too much. Cheap to keep.
What would you rather have? Would you rather do that or get caught stepping out and then she can just go to the judge and show him that video? How much you think you'll lose there?
You're right. Though I say you gotta have a prenup before you step out.
This guy,
Ladies,
he already playing.
If he bring a prenup to the table, walk away.
Shoot it
No.
down. Be like, what you call did what's that? Stack.
Jackson. Yeah,
Steven Jackson.
Okay.
He ain't signed that prenup. He left at the altar.
People trifling.
And where's Steven Jackson woman at now?
He got
He
another
made
one.
the
now.
right decision.
Yeah.
He made the right decision.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies,
Too much money put on the table.
if
You won't want him shooting in
he
the
put
jail.
a prenup in front of you, he does not trust you. And if he
Exactly.
does not trust you,
You got
I
so
don't
much
trust the
money, you can't
system.
trust nobody.
You're right.
and that goes the other way too. Woman, if she offer you a prenup, she don't trust you. And if she don't trust you, now don't even need to do this dance.
I don't, again, not to go far right. Danny Ocean, Dr. J, and I all being married men. I think that marriage is about love, but I also think it is a business because I do because again, any financial decision that you make directly impacts your partner, right? So call it what you want. But I do feel like in most situations, if I'm coming to the table with way more than I had before I met you, right? And I feel like at the end of the day, you need to be protected because again, most women are the ones that file for divorces. It ain't us, right? And so my thing is I look at it is all I would want the prenup to say is I come in with the same thing I had before I met you and you leave with what you have. At the end of the day, if we have kids and stuff together, the court's gonna make you get paid. The woman is gonna be, and my kids are gonna be taken care of. But I'd be damned if I'm a millionaire and I met you as a millionaire, and you can't tell me you ain't know nothing about my money. Nothing about it. You was just like, oh my God, I just love this broke nigga right here. I just love him. He's so broke. I'm about to no. That ain't even how it happened. So at the end of the day, it is our job. It's my job to make sure my wife is taken care of, but also,
Yeah, like I said, if you ain't got nothing, just prenup things not gonna
If you don't
If you ain't got
trust her, then why are you marrying her?
It ain't
It
about
doesn't always
trust.
have
It's not about
Hey,
trust.
about trust.
It's not about
It's
trust.
not about
People
trust.
fall
It's not
about
about
love
trust.
all the time. It's not
Yeah.
about trust. It's not about trust. Like, if you love somebody so much that you want to work all day, all night, and build something and get married, and then give her half just because, that's on you. Nah, it's not about trust. It's people fall in and out of love all the time.
Y'all can
Feelings
talk yourself.
change.
Y'all can frame it however you want to
But
frame it.
but like I said, if you ain't got nothing to start off with, it ain't no point. It ain't no point in splitting nothing. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, if one has established themselves, they need to protect themselves in the long run. It's like insurance. You hope to never use it, but in case you do, you got it.
My wife today can have everything I got in my bank account. That's not the point. She's been with me since I was 19 years old. So of course she can have it all. So again, I'm speaking for the other people, for the NBA players, for the rappers, for all these people who came in with all these. You cannot tell me that a woman is willingly signing up to be with a broke man. They just ain't. They just aren't. They just aren't.
And if they are, more power to them. But once
Yeah.
again, a prenup ain't full of people who starting off with nothing.
A week, boy.
Thank you, Jesus. I ain't single. Lord, I hope I never have a daughter. She ain't gonna hit. Lord, have mercy.
Don't
Ain't
tell
no, it's
them
a
man
thin
no
line
compliment.
between gold digging and high standards. That's just all it is.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, that was another good conversation.
Mm.
Go follow us on IG, Who's Up _podcast. If you have any questions, anything want to communicate with us, shoot us an email, DM, anything. Email address is 1-800-who'sup@gmail.com. Thank y'all and have a great day.
Make sure she can pop that thing.
This man.
Hey, dog. If you're gonna get caught, at least make sure the cork was worth it.